There is a curious moment between Musashi and Takuan in volume 25 of Vagabond, taking place the night before Musashi has been challenged by the Yoshioka school to fight all 70 of their students. Takuan asks if he is accepting the challenge and Musashi says no, instead saying goodbye. He then bows to Takuan in respect for the first time, prompting one of the most interesting responses in the entire manga. Musashi, you've become kind. That means you're stronger. The strong are always kind. This leads to the question, what is strength, both in the context of this moment and the manga as a whole. Musashi grew up with a father who saw him as nothing but another opponent to defeat rather than a son, making sure to put him in his place so it is always clear where they stand. Shinmen is invincible, and as a result, was blind to all else in the desperation to remain invincible. As such, Musashi spent his time in the mountains, using it as his teacher to survive in this most tumultuous time in Japan's history. Following the Battle of Sekigahara and being abandoned by his friend Matahachi, he returns home only to be hunted by officials and villagers alike. He is able to evade capture, though at the expense of many lives. Ultimately, he is caught by his childhood friend, Otsu, following which Takuan hangs him from a tree where he lasts days as a result of the rain and Otsu feeding him. Once freed, Musashi is telling Takuan to kill him as this is the end of the road. However, Musashi is challenged, pushed to admit it would be better to die rather than live and be hated, because hate is what has been thrown his way. Takuan continues to break down his barriers till we hear what has been lingering in him. Does he really deserve to live? With renewed purpose he journeys, raging and wild, to challenge all who stand in his way to see who is truly the best in the land. Along this path Musashi comes upon two masters, the first of whom is Innei Kakuzenbo, who through his teachings helped Musashi tame his ferocity, thus cooling his temperament tremendously, allowing him to be far more patient, observing his surroundings as opposed to throwing himself in head first without a second thought. The second master, Yagyu Muneyoshi, teaches Musashi on the scope of what strength is, to meditate on his desires, who he is, what he is fighting for, and how he fights, forcing him to question what it even means to be invincible after having come across masters of Innei and Yagyu's ability, expanding his thought process and understanding of the world as a whole. Taking all this into account, the strength being referred to here is not physicality, because that is something he has possessed all his life. What it refers to is the mind that is molded as a result of experience and wisdom. As such, these frames are a wonderful distillation of Musashi's journey while being acknowledged by Takuan, the man who encouraged him to live in the first place. Out of all the fantastic moments present throughout Vagabond, this is one of, if not the best, character moment in the entire manga so far.